$3.30 an hour or something. So it's not bad entertainment for the dollar, but just an unbelievable crowd tonight. I mean, the walkthrough that we went through is probably, I don't think we've had a better one, since I've been here. So that was just very, endearing, quite honestly. I mean, it just made me really feel good, from the inside out. And I know it did the same for our players, just because our fans were so supportive and so eager and so happy. So that was really felt good for the game. The game itself, I thought we played okay. We can't turn the ball over 3 times in one quarter. Somebody can check the stats, Jerry, but I think it's the first time we've ever done that since I've been here in one quarter. So that's just unheard of and uncalled for, and you can't do it. And you're fortunate if you come out with a win when that happens. And that's why it was a 28-21 ball game at halftime, because you flip it over and give them field position, give them momentum, let them get going a little bit. Next thing you know, we got a ball game, because everybody's got players. I mean, there's not a team out there without players. So you gotta make sure you work to get your wins, and we did. I was proud of the way our guys came back and executed and played offensively and defensively. I thought we ended up running the ball extremely well down the stretch. It's probably what we didn't do enough early in the game. They did a good job on the back end defensively. They got good people on the back end. They got they had 8.5 starters back from last year, so they're off 8-win team. So they they had a chance to come in and make a little noise, and they did. And like I said, we're happy with the win. We got a lot of things to work on here in the next couple of weeks.
Jerry Hill, Baylor Bear Insider. Does that concern you that it's 2 weeks in a row now that teams kind of hang around, or do you look at the end result more?
No, I mean, it's you'd love to just be dynamically polished, every snap, but I'm not sure that's reality. But that's what you'd love to be, and I think through phases of the game, last weekend, this week, we've been that way. I think we've shown what we're capable of doing, but you just got to do it over the long haul. And one of our things has always been start fast, and I'm not sure we've started fast, both sides of the ball at the same time. So that's something that, I think will hopefully take care of itself as the season progresses. I mean, we're still young into this thing, and still got a lot of building blocks to do, particularly offensively, but both sides of the ball. And, we have to find improvement. We got 2 weeks off, got Rice.
Steve Cook, Sikkim Sports. Coach, a lot of flags early and some shoving matches. Was Lamar kind of trying to prove they weren't going to back off from you?
Yeah, I'm sure that they weren't going to. I mean, last time they played Baylor, they beat them. So I mean, they came in here, certainly, thinking that they were going to win the football game, prepared to win. I thought Ray and their staff did a great job. I thought they had a great plan both sides of the ball. I mean, I really do. I thought they did a really good job schematically. Both sides of the ball, protecting their QB, rolling him, keeping away from pressure, throwing high percentage passes, and defensively switching up their coverages and, loading and unloading the box and really giving us a lot of different looks. But, I think that's just part of the game. I mean, I'm glad it didn't escalate into anything more, but, it seemed to kind of equal out both sides.
Shahan Gerard, Dallas Morning News. Coach, can I just get 2 updates on players? One, Devin Chafin, I think we saw on the sideline without his pads on. And the other was Trelbert. Was that an injury thing, or was that a coach's decision?
Chafin, has got a little hamstring deal. Hopefully it's not too bad. Hams are always a high concern in season because a lot of times they take time. Shafe's kind of been a hamstring guy through his career, and it's because of his body type. I mean, he's really tightly wound and real low body percentage, and those are guys that pull a little bit. And Bert was just kind of a flow of the game deal with him.
Coach Tim O'Donnell, Channel 25 Sports. With Corey, I mean, you've had the chance to coach a lot of great receivers here at Baylor. In terms with Corey, I mean, is he maybe one of the most dynamic receivers you've ever had the chance to coach?
Yeah, we've had some great ones, here, and had some great ones in Houston also. And they all are different, I mean, there's a lot of ways to be great. What makes Corey great is that he's he's very dynamic with the football. He's very just aggressive when he has the football in his hands, and he's an aggressive receiver going after the ball. Very sudden, very strong, very powerful, and very confident. And that's kind of what separates him. So, he's a very passionate guy that plays with a lot of emotions, and emotions are in check. He's about as good as there is.
Did that affect you much with Kendall and Tate not here? How did that affect just getting the plays in and just the mechanics of that?
That was a little bit different. It really was. And I think it took us a little while to, make sure everybody was saying the right things at the right time. We thought we had a pretty solid plan going in that, we'd all worked on all week, and they actually were different to us defensively. So we kind of throw that out and then just kind of had to adjust as we went along. But when you're missing two full-time guys, on one side of the ball during a game, then, it does make a difference in the flow of the game. I thought Jeff did a really good job, though, and I thought, Randy, it was Jeff, Randy, and myself, and I thought, it all worked out good enough.
Jordan Mason, Killeen Daily Herald. Coach, how did you like what Johnny Jefferson did in his role tonight, and does he look like he's taking a step forward to you this season?
Yeah, Johnny's very talented. He really is, and with Chafin with his ham, he's going to be leaned on even more. He's a spark player. He's a guy that can make big plays. He's very, very athletic. So we're really excited about him. We keep waiting for him to be a dominant guy. Not just a flash guy, but really a dominant player. And I think as he progresses in his career, I think we'll certainly see that. I think he's got a real high ceiling.
AC and Coach, kind of piggybacking off of him, three guys have rushed over 100 yards tonight. Just talk about the distribution of those backs and getting the ground and pound game going.
Yeah, I'm not sure we've ever done that before. Somebody'd have to look at it, but that's pretty uncommon. You got to be able to run the ball, and really that's kind of what makes our offense go. If we can run the football, we can throw it. So we try to do it both ways. But tonight we felt like we had to run the ball to open up the pass by the way they were playing us. Some nights it's throw the ball to set up the run, but tonight was different. And I thought our O-line, came through at the end. That's when you run the ball well. It's usually because your O-line is doing a great job. And I thought those guys kind of earned their cost of living check tonight, and stepped up to the plate and made it happen.
John Giggy, News 10 Sports. Coach, I know you said last week that with Seth, you were surprised at his completion percentage because you thought mentally he was as sharp as could be. Do you feel like it's a bit flip-flop this week? You're happier with his completion percentage, but maybe his...
I mentioned earlier on the radio, as good as he was good, he was as bad as he was bad. And that was like when he was good, he was really good. When he was bad. And he understands that. He knows that. He knows the expectations of that position, and that's my job and our job to kind of smooth him up and make sure that he's doing the right things at the right time. What I do like about Seth is that he is very fearless. And what you've got to weigh is the fearlessness versus intelligence. So you got to combine those to where, always intelligence rides a little bit higher than fearlessness, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Anybody can be fearless. You don't have to be smart to be fearless. And so what you got to do is make sure when you're fearless, you're being smart. And he forced the ball a couple of times a day and scrambled, fled out of the pocket once when he could have stayed in there. And then we had a miscommunication on one route there, but he'll get better. He just needs reps. His whole thing. He only had 50-something plays against SMU, and he probably had 50-something tonight. So he's got to get reps.
Art, you talked about the running game. You've had two runs that are equal to the longest run you had last year with Williams last week and Johnny today. Is that the sign you have an explosive touchdown threat now in the running game?
What were they, 56, 61 yards or something? What were they? Yeah, I think the longest run we had last year was 56 yards. I know Shock had one like 60-something against Kansas maybe 2 years ago in 13. We got to. Those guys got to hit home runs. They got to. When you get that kind of space, we get into conference play. It's the hardest points on the field to score is 10 and in, 15 and in, because the field gets small. So I mean, when you got a chance to pop one, I mean, you got to finish it, and it's just part of it. I mean, there's good guys on the other side of the ball. I mean, guys that play DBs, they can run, and they got angles, they're not carrying the ball, and they're chasing. So it's hard to really be a home run guy on the offensive side of the ball, and I think that's why you very uncommonly see, house calls. Now, we've had a guy here that could house call you, but we've had one, and those guys are just pretty uncommon. But we got 3 guys that can do it, that all have excellent speed. Johnny has great speed. Devin was a state qualifier in the 100 meters, as was Shock in high school. So those guys can run. Thank y'all very much. Appreciate it.